The smells of Ybor City have stayed firmly affixed to my olfactory memory. Here are a few. Fresh bread being baked at La Centrale early in the morning. The smell of early morning fog. The afternoon grinding of coffee beans at La Rosita. The inky smell of La Gazzetta newspaper delivered in the afternoon. Freshly mowed lawn after a rain. Orange blossom time in the groves. The stale cigar smell commingled with the smell of fresh coffee in the cool cellar clubhouse of the Centro Asturiano. The smell of a roasting Cuban sandwich in the front oven of the Columbia Cafe. The sawdust and garbanzo soup smell of Las Novedades. The smell of popcorn at the Ritz Theater Saturday matinees. New clothes at Fernandez and Garcia. The perspiration mingled with perfume and freshly cleaned suits at the Sunday tea dances. The smell of fresh lipstick and rouge when dancing cheek to cheek. The boozy smell of beer in the joints along Lower Franklin Street. The musty odor of old books at Edward's bookstore. The joyful odor of airplane glue, signaling a new project or a finished model aeroplane. The smell of a locker room at Jefferson High School. The machine oil smell while cleaning a rifle in ROTC in high school. The sweet talcum smell of Abuelita as she fixed an after-school snack for me. The new car smell of Aunt Lola's new 1939 Plymouth. The heavenly smell of new leather in Wilson Davis's 1941 Mercury convertible. The whiskey and cigarette smell of the Columbia liquor store when Big Lawrence was boss. The clean pharmaceutical smells of La Economica drugstore when JB was manufacturing. The antiseptic smells of Trellis Clinic. When did drugstores stop smelling like drugstores? And when did hospitals stop smelling clean? The University of Tampa's ancient and musty odor. The Max Argintar haberdashery smelled like new straw hats. Jefferson High School smelled as though the janitor had just swept the halls. Buster Agliano's like freshly caught fish. El Encanto cleaners like steam and benzene. Manuel Arniela's Latin American garage, the smell of new rubber tires and gasoline. Uncle Paul's garage, the scent of oil. My step-grandmother Pennsylvania's piano room with odors of mahogany, chamomile tea, and geranium talcum. The Tampa Theater, cool as marble. The Garden Theater, stale air blown by rotary fans. My father's cool blue 41 Plymouth dark blue delivery truck, when he managed the Sharp and Dom Pharmaceutical Company, mixed new car aroma with the pharmaceutical smells of Sucrets and ST-37. A mouthwash. Dr. Myers, the one-armed dentist who reeked of cigars as he leaned over the patient. Our maid, Nana, who smelled of the asafoetida pouch she carried around her neck. The awful stink of cheap sneakers after a hard game of football on the street. The stench of socks worn so long that the bottoms turned to stone. The lovely odor of sun-dried bed sheets. Pillows smelled of feathers. A chamber pot under every bed, left over from the days before indoor plumbing. New undershirts and BVDs from the department store. My Uncle John Pacheco's roses in bloom. The stench of hundreds of chickens in the garage of my cousin Gus Jimenez Jr., the 10-year-old hustler. The lovely aroma of a woolen bathing suit, especially when worn by my Uncle Ferdie's beautiful wife Margaret. Getting my head pressed to her ample chest might have something to do with the heavenly association. Wet, woolly bathing suits were itchy, and the rented woolen suits at Clearwater's Pavilion always came with the dread question about who had worn them before you. Steeling yourself against the thought of the alien crotch, you hurried to dive into the first wave. The smell of salt water. The sensation of salt water up the nose. The water of Sulphur Springs was ice cold and smelled differently. In Passagril, the city water smelled of rotten eggs, hydrogen sulfide. Ugh. City water tasted great when put in a clean milk bottle and stored next to the ice in the icebox. The tap water from a garden hose smelled different from cold water in the icebox. The smell of the first bite of a fresh tomato. oranges, and grapefruit smells. Why don't avocados have a strong smell? Perhaps because we had two huge trees in the backyard and were desensitized by hundreds of avocados bombarding our roof. The unique smell of cordite, gunpowder, in the Gasparilla Parade. Stage makeup on a beautiful girl on a float. The clean, electrical scent of streetcars. The mud-flat stink of Tampa Bay. The smell of bait on the piers at Palmetto Beach. The fish odors at Ballast Point Pier. And in Ybor City, one aroma common to all establishments: cigar smoke.